You know that feeling, that little nudge inside that says, there's more to you.
Hmm.
Like a version of myself that's more vibrant, more capable,
Right.
just more alive, waiting under the surface. What if that's actually real? What if who you feel you could be isn't some crazy ideal, but is just
Buried. Yeah.
under all the old doubts, the habits you can't shake, maybe fears that aren't even yours? What if there's like a giant version of you, your real self, waiting?
It's such a shift in thinking, isn't it? That it's not about building something new, but digging up what's already there.
Exactly. Excavating,
Yeah.
remembering, not forcing.
Shedding the stuff that's covering your light. I like that.
Totally. And that whole idea, the contrast between living, small and limited versus embracing your giant potential. That's really the heart of what we're digging into today.
Right.
We're exploring this really interesting framework for transformation. It's called the 12 Journeys. And the materials we looked at make it clear this was co-created by Nicholas Townsend Smith and Ryan R. Morris.
Two minds coming together on this.
Yeah. And it's all based on the principles in their book, The Giants and the Smalls.
That co-creation part feels important. Like you're getting a blend of perspectives, maybe different strengths shaping this path.
For sure. And the sources we got for this deep dive, wow. They give a really full picture. We've got presentation slides mapping it all out, bits from a manuscript with like the origin story.
Yeah, the personal context.
Right. Compendiums with all the concepts, really detailed character descriptions for each journey.
The giants themselves.
Yes. And crucially, validation research. Stuff that grounds it all in, science and wisdom.
It's a solid mix. You get the story, the metaphor, and the backing.
So our mission today is basically to unpack these 12 journeys. We want to get the core pieces, see how they blend science and, older wisdom.
And see how it actually works as a path.
Yeah, a practical way, like the sources say, to go from feeling small, stuck, buried, to really stepping into that giant potential.
Moving from buried to rising.
That's the goal, moving from buried to rising.
It's a powerful metaphor for a very human struggle. So let's start right there. Giants and smalls. What does that really mean in this context?
Okay, yeah. The core metaphor, giants and smalls. What does it mean to be small? According to these sources, anyway.
Well, it's definitely not about, your job title or bank account, though that stuff can feed into it, for sure.
Right.
But it's mainly internal. It's that feeling stuck, maybe burned out, kind of afraid to really be seen or say what you think.
The sources talk about feeling buried, like under layers of self-doubt. Silenced, feeling inadequate, small.
Yeah, smallness.
There's this story in the manuscript bits, really raw. From Nicholas Townsend Smith, he talks about hitting absolute rock bottom, sitting in a food bank parking lot, financial ruin, bankruptcy.
Yeah.
The whole deal. And he says he felt smaller than ever.
Wow.
And it was tied to losing his identity, his ability to provide, feeling like he'd lost respect, even from his wife at the time. It makes small feel really real, not just an idea.
That story is key, I think. It grounds smallness. It's not just a concept. It's a painful human thing. It shows how, external crises can just trigger this deep internal feeling of being worthless, buried.
Like the identity you had is just gone.
Gone. Exactly. And it shows smallness is often a reaction, not just who you are fundamentally.
Okay. So if that's small, feeling buried, diminished, what's a giant then? Clearly not literal height or CEO status.
No, definitely not. The sources are super clear. Giants aren't measured by success. That's a direct quote, and it's vital.
So what are they measured by?
By how they live.
Yeah.
From the inside out. Giants, it says, live from truth, move with love, lead with courage, and impact by being fully themselves.
Fully themselves?
Yeah. It's about internal alignment, integrity, not chasing external stuff or trying to fit some mold. It's about remembering who you really are, your authentic self.
Remembering who you are, not rising by force. That phrase stood out.
It did, didn't it? It feels less like climbing a mountain and more like uncovering something.
Yeah, excavating.
Precisely. And these 12 journeys, they're positioned as the path for that excavation, the way back to being that giant self.
The manuscript calls the framework the elixir that helped him, Smith, heal his own life. Like everything, anxiety, relationships, finding a way to have a global impact.
But focusing on serving just one person at a time, that detail felt important too, making it manageable.
Right. It wasn't just some abstract theory they cooked up. It came out of that real struggle, overcoming feeling totally small.
It gives it that layer of lived experience, authenticity. You feel like this framework has been tested in the fire, so to speak.
And it suggests the potential is there for deep transformation. Health, wealth, relationships, purpose, the whole picture.
Okay, so we get the core idea, small versus giant, buried versus rising. And the 12 journeys are the path. Let's look at the structure. It's called the true path to relentless resilience.
Relentless resilience. I like that.
Yeah.
It's not just bouncing back once, but continuously having that strength.
Exactly. And the framework itself is described as, well, structure, but also holistic. It's the integration that's key.
Pulling from different places.
Right. Science, spirituality, philosophy, current research, bringing it all together for the whole person.
They use that tree of change visual too. Roots, trunk, fruit. But the 12 journeys map onto 3 phases: root, shoot, and fruit.
Okay, root, that's the foundation, right?
Yeah. Taoist healing. Getting at hidden beliefs to keep you small. Rebuilding your base. Moving through pain.
Preparing the ground, getting solid,
And then comes the shoot phase.
growing upwards.
Right. Outward growth. Getting brave enough to step into the unknown. Taking action. But with courage, not just hustle. Expanding. Crucially, without burning out.
Like the trunk getting strong, branches reaching out.
Exactly. And finally, for Shuite.
Harvest.
This is where it all kind of manifests.
Yeah.
Anchoring your true identity, leading just by being you. And creating a real legacy, not just after you're gone, but the impact you have now.
It's the culmination.
And they really stress this isn't just about having insights. It's about action. Getting past that personal growth gridlock.
You know, where you know stuff but don't do stuff.
Totally. This is meant to give you practical direction, confidence to actually move.
They call it installing a new operating system for lifelong expansion.
That's a great analogy, like fundamentally changing how you run things internally for continuous growth.
Okay, so with that root, shoot, fruit structure in mind, let's dig into some specific journeys, starting at the foundation, in the root.
Perfect. And a huge part of the root is understanding what's running the show unconsciously, which brings us to the journey of non-consciousness, embodied by Lila.
Lila, yeah, her description is striking, mimicking others, the cracked porcelain mask.
She teaches Rit, the main character in the story, the power of noticing what's running in the background.
Such a crucial first step.
Yeah.
The idea that so much of how we live, reactions, beliefs, habits is just automated, running below the surface.
Inherited stuff, societal programming, things we didn't consciously choose. Layla's mimicry is a metaphor for that, right? Living based on scripts that aren't ours.
And her lesson to Rit. Sometimes the loudest voice in your head isn't even yours. Find out whose it is. That's a wake-up call.
It really makes you question your own inner chatter. Is that me thinking that? Or some old tape?
Noticing is the start. Gives you a choice.
And the science on this is just mind-blowing. The sources pull from all these psychologists, James, Bandura, Erickson, Skinner, Rogers, who hinted at this unconscious stuff ages ago.
But the neuroscience really nails it. How much brain activity influencing our behavior, our decisions, our emotions happens without us being aware.
Totally automated networks.
Yeah, get this. The validation research mentions studies where the brain shows signs of making a decision up to 10 seconds before the person is consciously aware of deciding.
10 seconds? That's ages in brain time.
It really is. And something like 40% of our daily actions. Pure habit. Autopilot.
Almost half the day. Running on programs we haven't checked.
Pretty much. And the processing power difference, it's nuts. Conscious mind handles maybe 50 bits of info per second. Unconscious, around 11 million bits per second.
Oh.
So yeah, that hidden engine is doing a lot. The journey of non-consciousness is about just starting to see it.
Okay, so if Lila helps us see the background programs, what's next? That naturally leads to needing awareness.
Exactly. The journey of awareness, represented by Lemeki.
Lemeki, the giant who watches before speaking, carries a lantern with no fire.
Beautiful metaphor, right? Illumination through presence, not force.
So this is about mindfulness, conscious creation, waking up to those automatic patterns Lila reveals.
Yes, it's the discipline of just seeing what is, fully, without judging, before you jump in or react.
And the lesson isn't stop thinking, which is impossible anyway.
Right. You don't have to fight your thoughts. Just stop feeding them. Observe them. Let them pass. Don't give them more fuel.
Because you can't change what you don't see. If you don't know what you don't know, how can you change it? That quote hit home.
It's the essential bridge. Awareness connects seeing the non-conscious to actually making a choice.
And the science connects here too, like Kahneman System 1 and System 2 thinking.
Absolutely. System 1 is the fast, automatic stuff. System 2 is slow, deliberate. Mindfulness, like Langer or Kabat-Zinn or Thich Nhat Hanh, teach, strengthen System 2. It's the antidote to mindlessness.
And the brain actually changes.
It really does. Neuroscience shows that even just Naming an emotion like, okay, I'm feeling angry right now, can calm down the amygdala, the brain's alarm center.
Wow.
And at the same time, it ramps up activity in the prefrontal cortex. That's your calm, rational thinking part. So you're literally shifting your brain state with awareness.
Just by noticing and naming.
Yep. And if you practice mindfulness regularly, the structure changes. More density in the hippocampus memory learning, potentially a smaller amygdala, less reactive, lower stress hormones, better memory, less pain perception. It even activates the vagus nerve for relaxation and quiets that default mode network, the mind-wandering, ruminating part.
Okay, so awareness lets us observe our inner world, thoughts, feelings, patterns, clearly, without judgment, which sounds essential for dealing with the tough stuff that comes up.
Exactly. Which takes us deeper into the root phase, to the journey of grief embodied by Soraya.
Soraya, midnight blue robe, oceanic eyes, teardrop necklace. She sounds like she carries weight, grief from graver to way down.
She teaches the importance of actually facing and processing those heavy emotions, sadness, anger, despair, not pushing them away.
Her presence is about safety. Her silence allows us to just feel.
And her lessons are powerful. Tears are transformation. Like, the act of grieving changes you. Loss doesn't shrink. It hollows for love. That's beautiful. It creates space.
And the main one, you get through grief by feeling it. Don't rush this pain. It's remaking you.
Wow. It's reframing pain as a process of becoming.
This journey says those heavy feelings, grief, loneliness, fear, anger, they're not weaknesses. They're signs of having loved and lived. Proof you engage deeply.
And the science backs this need to process. You've got Kubler-Ross's stages, Kessler adding finding meaning, Worden's tasks, Rando's processes, all showing grief is active work.
Brene Brown on vulnerability fits here too, right? The courage to feel this stuff.
Definitely. And Peter Levine's somatic, experiencing how trauma gets stuck physically. You need to process it in the body too.
Even things like the DARE response for anxiety-resisting feelings makes them worse. Grief and anxiety often tangle up.
And neuroscience shows emotional pain is real. Social rejection, loss, lights up the same brain areas as physical pain. Extreme grief can even cause broken heart syndrome.
And not processing it suppresses immunity, keeps you stressed.
Right. Chronic grief can even get stuck in reward circuits tied to memories, keeping you tethered to the past. And emotional tears literally carry stress hormones out.
So grief teaches us to sit with it, process it, release that weight, which sounds hard.
Yeah.
Necessary. And maybe that leads to acceptance.
Perfectly. It leads right to the journey of acceptance with Noah.
Noah. Build like a stone wall. Lives with Graver the bear representing grief, trauma, that heavy stuff.
She teaches radical acceptance. And the key is, it's not resignation, but recognition.
Accepting reality as it is, even when it sucks, without fighting it. Noah embodies stillness in the storm.
And her quote flips everything. Peace isn't when things stop changing, it's when you stop resisting. Peace isn't about circumstance, it's about your internal posture.
Stop fighting what is.
That idea pops up everywhere. Tara Brach on radical acceptance, Byron Katie's work questioning resistant thoughts, Carl Rogers, Marshall Linehan's DBT, huge skill for intense emotions, Kristen Neff on self-compassion, accepting ourselves.
And resisting reality is actually stressful, physically.
Totally. Suppressing emotions, fighting what is, raises cortisol, kicks in fight or flight, exhausting.
But accepting it.
Research links emotional acceptance to lower depression, anxiety, blood pressure, higher pain tolerance, quicker recovery from mistakes. It creates space. By stopping the fight, you make room for what could be.
Okay, so the root phase is deep work. Non-consciousness, awareness, grief, acceptance. There are others too, like gratitude and empowerment, helping shift perspective and claim power. It's about building that solid foundation.
Exactly. Healing the base, understanding yourself, making peace with reality. Once that's stronger, you can start reaching up into the shoot phase.
Expanding possibilities, growing.
And that starts by tackling scarcity, which brings us to the journey of abundance. With Aubrey.
Aubrey, vibrant, generous, always carrying gifts, sees potential everywhere, reshapes things.
She takes a broken branch, makes a flute, cracked earth, makes a bowl. She teaches Rit in us that abundance isn't about getting more. It's about seeing hidden value in what's already there and having the skill to shape it.
That story where Rit's defeated in the ruined valley and Aubrey gives him a dead seed. Start with this.
Powerful.
Per lesson. Everything you need is already here. The gift is learning how to shape it. Shifts focus from passive wanting to active creating.
Totally resonates with Wayne Dyer. Abundance is not something we acquire. It is something we tune into. It's a mindset shift.
Like Elon Musk, the sources mentioned, transforming energy, reshaping resources.
And scientifically, it connects to things like creative visualization, seeing possibilities, implementation, intentions, planning how to act on potential. Scarcity mindset links to stress. Interestingly, also empathy, maybe. Abundance mindset to better planning. Your focus shapes your actions.
So if Abri helps us see abundance and potential, where do we direct that potential? We need a vision.
Precisely. The journey of vision with Drish.
Drish, the small boy with giant ideas. Sketching blueprints, telescope.
He shows Rit the sunset, then blueprints. Everything begins as invisible until someone draws it. Vision isn't just dreaming, it's creating a memory of what you haven't seen yet.
Making the future feel real now.
This journey is about daring to envision without limits. Rit struggles, afraid to draw it wrong. But Drish says the act of creating that future memory is key. The clearer you see it, the more real it feels.
And the support for this is massive, right? Covey's begin with the end in mind. Frankel, on purpose. Sinek's, why? Tony Robbins' visualization, hope theory, goal-setting theory, intentional change, implementation intentions.
It's everywhere because it works. Neuroscience confirms it. Imagining activates the same brain networks as doing. Mental rehearsal primes the brain. Process visualization, seeing the steps, seems even better than just outcome visualization for driving effort.
And it engages the RAS, that brain filter.
Yeah. Reticular activating system. You focus on your vision, your RAS starts noticing things in your environment that match it. Opportunities, resources. You literally start seeing the path more clearly.
Plus, just writing goals down makes you way more likely to achieve them. 42% more likely, the source said.
Vision is a practical tool, neurologically sound, but the path isn't usually smooth.
Nope, which means we need to deal with the unknown.
Right. Also in the shoot phase, the journey of uncertainty, Tawa embodies this.
Tawa. Cloaked in feathers, shifting eyes, compass never points north. Mysterious.
Represents anti-fragility, not just surviving chaos, but gaining from it.
The teaching is, lean into the unknown, don't fight it, walk in with wonder, curiosity.
That quote, certainty is the cage, curiosity is the key. Love that. Needing certainty traps you.
The map appears after the first step. The unknown is soil for growth.
Makes me think of Pema Chodron leaning into discomfort, Alan Watts embracing change. Uncertainty is reality. This journey teaches how to be with it, find potential in it.
And from navigating uncertainty, maybe letting go even more.
Yes. The journey of surrender with Liv.
Liv. Flowy robes, barefoot on cliffs, stringless kite, stone-marked trust. She's about letting go of control.
Her core message, control is just fear pretending to be strength. We grip tight out of fear. True strength is releasing, trusting.
That quote, you're not here to hold it all together. You're here to release what was never yours.
Oof.
That hits.
It really does. This is about allowing life to unfold, trusting the unseen path. Peace isn't earned, it's allowed. Dreams are breathed by trust, not forced. Surrender isn't giving up, it's allowing peace.
And this is in so many traditions. Michael Singer's Surrender Experiment, Coy, Byron Katie, Pema Chodron, Richard Rohr and the 12 Steps. Even Darwinian adaptation involves a kind of surrender to environment.
And neuroscience shows surrender is active, involves the prefrontal cortex. It triggers the relaxation response, parasympathetic nervous system. Releasing that need for control, often tied to trauma or attachment issues, is deeply healing. Choosing to let go gives you internal control. Can release oxytocin too, fostering trust.
Okay, so shoot is expansion. Abundance, vision, uncertainty, surrender. Powerful stuff for moving forward. Root is the foundation, shoot is reaching out. Which brings us to the fruits.
Manifestation, impact, legacy. And it starts with tending to the tree itself. The journey of nurture with Nayeli.
Nayeli. Cozy cardigan gardening apron. Tends broken things like that kintsugi bowl, finding beauty in imperfection.
She embodies continuous growth through consistent, gentle effort, learning, expanding capacity.
Her teaching is so simple but deep. What you tend to grows. That includes you. Sustainable growth needs patience, gentleness. Rest is part of it. Growth happens in small, patient, sacred steps.
Connects straight to Kaizen continuous improvement via small steps. Carol Dweck's growth mindset. Mindfulness for self-care. Kristen Neff's self-compassion, treating yourself kindly.
And the neuroscience of nurture. Wow. Caring behaviors raise oxytocin, lower stress. Affection grows the hippocampus. Touch boosts growth, immunity. Helping others gives a helper's high. Nurture modifies gene expression. Social ties reduce inflammation, increase lifespan. There's even a nurture hub in the brain, MPOA. Mentoring helps the mentor. It's cyclical. Tending yourself lets you tend others.
It's not selfish, it's essential. for sustained growth, for being able to give, which leads perfectly to the final journey.
The culmination, the legacy journey with Zakia.
Zakia, cloak of stars, staff with names, writing names in sand, wise, embodies living for meaningful, lasting impact.
She draws that legacy tree root as foundation, shoot as branches, leading to the fruit of legacy. Legacy isn't just stone monuments, it's what you carve into souls and light up now.
Her quote is intense. Your name will live in echoes, so speak truth while you can. Urgency. Wisdom.
Legacy is seeds planted, fires lit, echoes in lives touched, truth carried, steps taken now.
Connects to Franklin, meaning, Cynic's why, Covey, Drucker on contribution, Erickson's generativity.
Yeah.
All about impact beyond the self.
And the science. Sense
Yeah.
of legacy linked to lower mortality, 15% lower risk.
Yeah. Generativity activates reward centers. Sharing stories helps memory, reduces depression. Parenting linked to longer life. Legacy focus boosts creativity, dopamine. Facing mortality clarifies legacy. Older brains focus on positivity, storytelling. Legacy projects boost well-being. It engages long-term thinking. PFC.
And that final point, we're literally stardust, cosmic legacy.
Brings it right back to being inherently giant, made of star stuff, capable of lasting impact.
Incredible. So beyond the individual journeys, the sources mention some broader concepts that validate the whole thing.
Yeah. Underpinning frameworks, like polyvagal theory, understanding our nervous system states safe social, ventral vagal, fight flight, sympathetic, freeze shut down, dorsal vagal.
And the journeys help shift us towards that safe, regulated ventral vagal state through acceptance, nurture, surrender.
Exactly. Crucial for resilience, emotional regulation, trauma recovery. Then there's somatic body-centered approaches.
Like somatic experiencing, yoga, tai chi. Recognizing stress gets stuck in the body.
Right. Healing needs to involve the body releasing stuck energy, improving interoception, internal awareness, boosting mood. It integrates mind and body.
And mirror neurons, how we empathize.
Yes, they fire when we watch someone act like we're doing it ourselves, helps us connect with stories, characters, like Rit or the Giants.
So engaging with their journeys can create a subconscious switch, seeing yourself as the protagonist.
It can vicariously shift self-perception, provide motivation, powerful stuff. Then there's collective effervescence.
That shared energy in groups, concerts, communities.
Yeah, Durkheim's idea. Being part of a community like the Sum Gigante one mentioned can foster connection, reinforce values, motivate transformation, hard to do alone.
And finally, archetypes and narrative structures.
Universal patterns. Hero's journey, sage, caregiver. The 12 Journeys provides a structure tapping into these universal arcs. It's about restoring your life from small and stuck to giant protagonist.
These broader ideas show the framework's deep roots, human experience, social dynamics.
Grounds it all, makes it relatable, powerful.
Okay, so how does someone actually do this? It's meant to be practical, right? Not just reading about it.
Definitely about action, overcoming that personal growth gridlock. There are specific practical elements.
Like homework?
Yep. Weekly homework mentioned, identifying non-consciousness, practicing awareness early on, later, emotional clearing, legacy work. Also structured journaling, using prompts from a workbook tied to the journeys and a creed.
Coaching too, live or AI.
Seems so. For translating insights into steps, navigating blocks. And community is huge, that Sum Gigante group for support, accountability, collective effervescence in action.
And that services currency idea, the scholarship.
Really interesting. Earning program access through contributions, hosting sessions, creating content, referring members, moderating.
So you're practicing contribution and legacy just by participating.
Exactly. It builds the values into the structure, links effort and giving back directly to your own progress, moves beyond just self-help to community building.
That's pretty innovative. Aligns the means in the end.
It really does.
Wow. Okay, we have covered a lot today. We unpacked giants and smalls, the root, shoot, fruit, phases, the journey from buried to rising. We met Lila, Lameki, Soraya, Noah, Abri, Drish, Tawa, Liv, Nayeli, Zakia. Explored their lessons, the science, the wisdom behind them.
From neuroscience to ancient philosophy.
It's clear this framework, co-created by Nicholas Townsend Smith and Ryan R. Morris, based on the giants and the smalls, is, well, it's deep, sophisticated, but aims to be practical, holistic.
Intentionally integrating all these fields to offer a path.
A path for healing, clarity, real direction, health, wealth, relationships, purpose. Finding your way back to your truth.
Stepping into that giant potential, not just for goals, but for navigating life with resilience, intention, authenticity.
A structured journey back to who you really are. underneath it all.
From buried to rising.
A path to relentless resilience.
Indeed.
This has been incredibly rich, a fantastic deep dive into the 12 journeys. Thanks for exploring it all.
My pleasure. Always fascinating to uncover these pathways to, a bigger, truer life.
And for you listening, as you think about this journey, smallness to giant potential, think about that journey of abundance. Abundance isn't acquired, it's tuned into, it's shaped. So here's a question to sit with. If the universe is infinite, if abundance is the default, how might shifting your focus, shifting from what you think you lack to what you can actively shape with what's already here inside you and around you, how might that truly transform your reality, starting right now?